people. So once again, we got an action-orientated episode of UQ Holder Negima, and I'm really digging the series where it's going. Now, I've heard a lot of talk about people, at least manga readers, saying that the pacing has been drastically quickened. So some of the chapters, some of the manga content's been skipped. So, well, apparently it's only 12 episodes. Being said, it did not take away from this episode, nor did it take away from the foreshadowing of where we can head next when it comes to the series. And the thing I like most about this is it introduced 2 new power-ups, which I kind of predicted was going to come with Tota and especially with Karin. So we start off with, I guess, Koromaru, aka Tokisaka, pretty much cut in half, sent to Tota's way. Notices he's still under the effects of the crucifix coffin seal, and notices because he's a vampire, that's his biggest weakness. So, but we knew he was going to bust out of that. Koromaru was put literally on hold to stop him from doing anything, to the point where he's, I guess, Kaito was going to freeze him. Comes Ruki, the little kid that was befriended by Tota. I guess wanted to try and put a stop to it, or at least buy some time, and kind of ask why you're doing all this. And we get the revelation that the people above the orbital elevator hired them to take out, I guess those in the slums and to remove them. So there is 2 forces against the UQ Holder right now. So obviously you got the more hunters that have been hired to take care of them, and now you got the people above the orbital elevator that dislike, obviously, those that live in the slums, those that are less fortunate, those that live in poverty. We got that explanation last week. We cut away to the shower scene, aka the rape scene, if you want to call it that, with, I guess, Chow still torturing Karin in the shower. And I guess it's kind of revealed that she was bestowed a power to, like, absorb all damage, so no traces of blood with it. We saw her stabbed, we saw no traces of blood, and obviously she's stabbed now, she's being put through torture. Come to find out she's actually burned, and I guess she was taken in by Yukihime. So she frees herself, I guess, from Chow's clutches by kicking him below the belt, then kicks him towards the face and spins him around, which was kind of funny. And then kind of reveals, no, it's not a curse, it's part of my despair, because I don't want to use this power. And which highlights the fact that I did point out a couple of episodes ago that she was holding back. She did have a power boost. Didn't think it would be this drastic, though. And the thing about it goes directly against foreshadowing. It goes directly against Tota's power boost he got. What was it? Margit Aregia, the 3rd user of that technique, where each time he uses the technique, his soul gets devoured. Each time it gets consumed to a point where he loses control. So, and in this situation, Karin's power is completely the total opposite. So, and I think it's kind of interesting because the personalities do kind of clash with one another, but they do seem to more of a bond this time. So I like that. Then decides to throw a holy punch and just beats the living hell out of this guy. And he had it coming from a mile away. So obviously he got punched in the ribs, and then he got a melee of kicks from Karin, who looked beastly powering up. I've got to say that. And we didn't really get to see him by the end, so I'm wondering, will we see him again? Obviously, Karin made it to the battlefield, so we go to where Tota and, I guess, Koromaru save the kid, but in comes Tota, blocks the hit, reveals he has some type of new arm and hockey, aka, I guess it's his new power that gives him it darkens his arms, and he has a red aura around it, kind of like Gear 4 a little bit. And I guess he was able to match blow for blow with Kaito because they were in a battle with flash steps. So that was kind of cool. I knew that was going to be a trait in this episode, and I knew he was going to go up against Kaito. However, unfortunately, Kaito increases his speed during that fight to actually, obviously, to pierce through Tota, and it looks beastly as all hell. Like I said, one thing that Negima usually doesn't do is have the uncut, gory stuff, so I like that they've added that in, made it a lot more edgy with these fights. By the way, the choreography in this fight was awesome. Flash step, and obviously pierces him through the gut. He actually pierces his heart, and we're going to find out that's his one weakness. If I crush your heart, then immortality doesn't work. Turns out no, because he still has another. In comes the power boost and uses Margit Aregia, which I guess just slices his arm off. First off, secondly, he knew it was Kaito from the get-go. He says, "Yo, why don't you reveal yourself, Kaito?" And he reveals nobody knows those movements much like you because you taught me them. So I like how he knew it was Kaito from the very beginning, and he kind of asked, "Why are you doing this?" And Kaito gives his reasons, I guess, because he wants the thrill of a fight, to fight someone like Tota. That's the reason why he joins his missions. Tota goes full-blown Super Saiyan and unleashes a set of wings. On top of that, he's using I'm pretty sure he used this power in episode 1, which I knew he was going to do. And Kaito catches those hands real quick. So he's choking him and he sent him through the air. And obviously the blind swordsman kind of points out, references the fact that he is the third user of Magia Regia. The first user was incomplete when it comes to Evangeline. So she was the one that first attempted that. The second, we don't really get to know much about, although if I had to place a bet, we get the very last shot maybe of him at the very end of the episode. But this one's a complete form now. He sends him flying through a bunch of buildings. On top of that, he lands a significant amount of blows. It's like a jet gatling almost. Like he just mauls away, and Kaito's like, yo, finish me off, kid. Yo, I want to die like this. And this is what I guess wanting to die like this kind of like triggers him back to like getting his self-awareness. I guess he breaks the control of, I guess, Magia Regia and Tota's himself again. And it's like, yo, I'm not going to kill you in a place like this. Yo, it's kind of interesting. And they decide to, I guess, settle it in an arm wrestling, which I did not expect that, to be honest with you. It makes sense because he was training to build up his strength with the flash step, and that's how he met Kaito in order to beat Karin arm wrestling in the first place. The other arm wrestling, and he uses his own strength, and Kaito, they kind of like throw dialogue back and forth about Kaito abandoned where he was from, why he joined up with the Immortal Hunters. He gets beaten arm wrestling, and not only that, they pull, I guess, a Bon and Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins. They bust out the entire I guess the roof of the flat and go straight down to the bottom. So it's definitely something out of Seven Deadly Sins with the arm wrestling. That's kind of cool. And ends with the swordsman saying we're going to retreat. It comes, by the way, this mission's complete because pretty much the slums are on fire. It comes Evangeline, which I knew reinforcements were going to appear. She uses that ice magic to pull out the fire. We get a brief confrontation, goes into a child form, and she's like, it's been a long time, swordsman. So I guess they fought on Mars. Whatever reason, he got wrecked. And that's where he met the second Magia Regia user. He slashes his sword and he opens up a time portal. I guess they go through it, maybe to above the orbital elevator. So that's Karin was looking to fight him, but we didn't get to see that. Plus, when Karin stepped in, she had I think he had Tota's sword with it as well as a mallet. I'm pretty sure we may get to see what swordsman's capable of down the road. The people in the slums offering to feed, obviously, the trio. I guess the 4 of them from UQ Holder, because obviously they put in the work. We get a touching scene with Karin. I guess she's warming up to Tota a little bit. So that was kind of funny. And ends on the cliffhanger with one certain guy looking on. I guess he's up above the orbital elevator. So I guess we'll find out who he is next. So I like where this episode leads. Got 2 major power boosts. Obviously, one for Karin, one for Tota. And introduces a concept which Karin mentioned something interesting too when she's like, yo, if he goes out of control, it's our responsibility. We'll deal with it. So I'm pretty sure that may come into effect down the line if somebody takes him off like they did in this episode. So I can't wait to see what happens next. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Like this review if you did. Appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel for more UQ Holder Negima. Catch you guys later. Bye.